Welcome back, Sebastian here. Time for my review of the 2024 Formula One Chinese Grand Prix sprint. So a bit of an exciting race, a bit of a dull start, but it really built up towards the end, and we obviously had that pretty hectic one lap there towards the end. But let's get started. So Norris was on pole with Hamilton alongside him after a pretty chaotic end to sprint qualifying yesterday. All drivers were on medium tires except for Russell, who decided to start on the soft tires, gambling on a good start and hoping that the tires would be able to last until the end. It was a really good start from Hamilton. Basically went down the inside of turn one and forced Norris to try to take a big risk going around the outside of turn one, outside of turn two. And unfortunately for him, kind of lost it on the outside of turn one. Hamilton did push him slightly, or kind of drift slightly towards the outside, but he was staying on the racing line. And he was right to stay where he was. But yeah, Norris probably should have backed out at that point. Doesn't, goes wide at turn two, and loses a boatload of positions, and he drops down to P7. Lap 3, Sainz was starting to put pressure on Verstappen, who was struggling quite a bit at the start. Probably tire warm-up issues. I don't think the weather's the warmest in Shanghai at the moment, so Red Bull, of course, we know are very kind on their tires, but that can also have the adverse effect of being means that it's a bit harder for the tires to warm up. Russell overtakes Magnussen for P10 at the hairpin turn 14. Lap 6, at this point Hamilton still in the lead, holding a 1.6 second gap on Alonso, who was P2. And I felt drivers were really just managing tires, making sure that the tires were going to be in a good enough window that they were going to be able to push all the way until the end of the race, and they wouldn't get caught out being with extra worn tires towards the end. Lap 7, Verstappen gets what starts to be within this DRS range of Alonso and very quickly overtakes him for P2 at turn 14. Lap 9, Verstappen paced much quicker than Alonso, much quicker than Hamilton, catches up to Hamilton very quickly. Hamilton did make a small mistake the lap before, but Verstappen makes it look pretty easy, overtakes Hamilton for the lead of the race at turn 14. At this point, he basically just drove off into the distance, and we never saw him again. Lap 10, Alonso starting to lose pace, dropping into Sainz, and Russell at this point, roughly at this point, overtook Zhou for P9. Lap 11, Hulkenberg looking like he has some kind of issues because he got overtaken by both Alpines. Not sure what was going on there, but I do know some of the drivers were using used medium tires, Piastri included, so that's why their pace was a little bit off their teammates and some of the other drivers around them. So that might have been the same that was going on for Hulkenberg. And at this point he was in 18th place, very much out of the race. Lap 14, Leclerc complaining about derating, and at this point the Alonso train from P3 down to basically P7 was quite tightly packed together. Lap 15, Perez complaining about no traction, and we had some good midfield battles, but unfortunately did not see them on the camera. We did see the positions change on the leaderboard a bit. That was between Ricciardo, Bottas, and Ocon and Stroll. Leclerc then tries to overtake Perez at turn 14, unable to make the move stick though. Lap 16, this is where all the chaos happened. So basically, Alonso driving very slowly. Definitely the tires are more worn than Sainz behind him. Definitely probably much quicker car. Sainz tries to overtake him around the outside of turn 5. And then they both go side by side through turn 5, turn 6. And Alonso basically pushes both of them wide at turn 7. They both have contact there, and it basically allows Perez to sail down the inside and move his way up into P3. The battle then continues, and unfortunately for Alonso, he got a puncture there from that battle, and he unfortunately has to pit at the end of that lap, and his race is basically ruined from there. Sainz looked like he might have gotten some damage as well because his pace slowed down quite a bit with that. And the following lap, lap 17, Leclerc overtakes Sainz down the inside of his teammate to move up to P4. Definitely not very happy with his teammate Leclerc was. He felt that Sainz pushed him wide at the hairpin turn 14, and then I don't think had the easiest time getting past him going into those first couple corners. Lap 18, Alonso then retires in the pits. Final lap of the race, Verstappen wins, takes the checkered flag, wins by 13 seconds for a 19 lap race, so that's basically 0.2 of a second No, 2/3 of a second a lap. So that's crazy pace advantage over Hamilton there. Hamilton P2, really good result from him, building off of a very strong qualifying, and then Paris final spot on the sprint podium in P3. So your other drivers, P4 Leclerc, P5 Sainz, 6th Norris, 7th Piastri, 8th Russell, picking up a point with those soft tires. So pretty good consolation prize for Russell. 9th Zhou, probably a bit disappointed to not get points in the sprint for his home Grand Prix. 10th Magnussen, 11th Ricciardo, 12th Bottas, 13th Ocon, 14th Stroll, 15th Gasly, 16th Tsunoda, 17th Albon, 18th Sargent, 19th Hulkenberg, and then 20th retiring in the pits at the end was Alonso. Championship doesn't really change a whole lot. Verstappen stays first with 85 points. Perez 70 points in second. Leclerc third with 64. Sainz fourth with 59. Fifth Norris with 40. Sixth Piastri with 34. Russell, I guess, builds himself a 1 point cushion over Alonso with 25 points compared to Alonso's 24. Hamilton stays in 9th, 17 points and then 10th Stroll with 9, 11th Tsunoda with 7, 12th Behrman with 6, 13th Hulkenberg with 3, Magnussen with 1 point and 14th, and then Albon, Zhou, Ricciardo, Ocon, Gasly, Bottas, and Sargent all on 0 points still. So decent race in the sprint, not a terrible race. I don't think we really learned a whole lot, and I think because drivers and teams are going to be able to make setup changes between now and qualifying, it means that we do potentially have a bit of a different pecking order for the Grand Prix tomorrow. So I do think that's one of the big benefits of the change, switching the qualifying, sprint, and sprint race order. So looking forward to the qualifying in 3 or 4 hours time, and then of course the Grand Prix tomorrow. I'll be doing both a bit late because I'm competing in a road race myself, so I won't be able to watch both sessions live probably, but they will be up the same day, probably only in like 2 to 3 hours delayed in both cases. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, really helps out. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.